about function. So in mathematics, what is the meaning of function? We use function to connect one value to another value. You get? That is, you are going to have input and output. So take for instance now, area of circle. When you have area of circle, you have pi r squared. This is area of circle, right? So what connect this area of circle with other variable here? This is area, this pi, this r square, which is the radius. Now, this is the this equation here, what connect them together is known as function. Function is the rule that connects one value to another. Everything now. So it takes an input and gives exactly one output. Just like this R can be of any value. Can be 1, can be 2, can be 3, any value. So the input of this R will determine the area of that circle. Am I communicating? Another thing is that if I say that A is a function of R, how am I going to express it mathematically? When I say A is a function of R, it's going to be like A functions of what? Of R. Let me use that small letter. So A, the functions of R. That is, A depends on the quantity of this R. This area of circle, it depends on the radius, the area now of the circle. So that means that if I have any value that I'm getting here, it's going to affect this output. This is my input, this is my output. Am I communicating? So we have two types of variable here. We have independent variable and dependent variable. And note, what do we call variable? What is the meaning of variable? Variable is a symbol that we use to represent an unknown value or changeable value. Like now, this R now can be of any number, right? So that means that this R is representing a variable of one particular number that we don't know. This A also is a variable, also represents a value that we don't know. So anything that represents a value or something that can change everything now, so we call that thing variable. Like now, this is A variable, this R variable. This side, so we're looking at this output here, we know it to be our dependent variable. It depends on this R. Why this R is our input. That is, I can have different kind of R, everything now, to give me one output. Just like you want to make a cake now, right? Want to bake now. We are going to have your ingredients, anything that I put together. So those things that you put together, they are what they call the inputs. So the cake is the output. Everything now. So anything that you put there will determine the kind of taste or the kind of quantity of your cake. So the same things apply here as well. So this serving as our ingredients, this serving as our product, right? So output determined by what you put inside it. So what you put inside this is known as what? Independent variable. When I'm communicating now, this is about the variable, this is about the function. Function connects it connects two or more values together. Do you get me now? And we have output, we have input. Also, we have what they call variable. Variable, it is a symbol that we use to represent an unknown value or changeable value. Like now, this A, this R now. This R can change to give me the A. So these are the things that you need to understand about this. Another thing is again is that it's about domain. That's what they call domain and codomain. What do we know as domain? Our domain and codomain. When I say domain means that the possible number that I can apply in this equation. Right now, if I have A equal to pi r square now. Now, what are the possible number that is allowed in this formula here? You know, this is my function, right? So, what this r now, what number am I going to put as r that is going to be allowed mathematically? So, all the number that I can use that can make this functions to be defined, we call that one a what? A domain. Are you see now? The codomain is that what outputs, what are the possible outputs that I can get? Like now, as I have a equal to pi r square now. So now, if I, what are the possible outcome that I can get from this A? So the possible outcome is known as codomain. While the input, what are the possible number I can put here is known as domain. Am I communicating now? Now, and in domain and codomain, we have what they call defined and undefined. We have what they call defined and undefined. Now, in the terms of defined, defined means that all the possible number that can make, that makes them mathematically. That is, let's say for instance now, if I have, let's say I have a equal to, I will use that one as well, by r square now. This r now, right? If I use any number, it is going to be possible. It's still going to make sense mathematically. Now, another question is now that which kind of condition that can make an expression not to make sense mathematically? It is when we have undefined. Undefined means that if we have anything divided by zero, that is value divided by zero, we make that thing to be undefined. Or square root of square root square root of negative value. Negative value. In the case of here is that when I have it like maybe I have 5 divided by 0, this will be undefined. If I have here square root of any negative value, let's say -1, it is undefined. So any condition that will make it to have divided by 0, that is undefined. Any condition that will make it to have negative square roots is undefined. Do you get? So domain and codomain now. Now, if I have this reaction like this, if I have maybe I have y equal to 4x plus 5. This x, if I have any number, there's no how I'm going to get 5 over 0 or square root of -1. That is, domain of this one, domain is sets of all real number. In the case of here, the domain is a set of all real number because for anything can suit this x. Are you with me now? So if I have 1, 2, 3, even negative value, I'm still going to have it to be defined. There's no way I'm going to have it as divided by 0 or square root of minus or negative value. So as I have it here now is that domain is set of all real number. But if I have something like this, if I have it as y equal to 1 over x now. But what is there now? If I have my x to be 0, that means that this thing is not going to be defined. The domain of this one will now be sets of all real number. Set of all real number except what? Except 0. So that means that domain of this thing that I can make this to be defined, that is what I can input. What I can input here. Are you with me now? What I can input here is that I can put any number there except 0. Or if I have it like y equal to 1 over x minus 2. Is that okay now? In the case of here now, if I know if I have 2 here, you're going to give me undefined. I'm going to be having negative value here. I mean, it's 0 here, right? So that means that the case of here also is that sets of all real number except what? Except 2. Because if I have 2 as x, I'm going to be having 0 here. And it's going to give me undefined. It does not make sense mathematically. I hope it's clear. This is about the domain. About the domain. So any possible outcome is all set of all real number. The one that is not going to be suit and that's not going to be okay with it You now exclude it from it. Domain is a set of all real number for this one. In the case of here, set of all real number except 0, because if I have the 0 as x, I'll be getting undefined. Set of all real number except 2, because if I have 2 here, I'll be having 0 here, which is what? Undefined. Is that clear now? Now, about the codomain, codomain means that what are the possible outcomes that I can get from this y? Codomain means that possible outcome. Domain means that possible inputs that will be defined. Now, in the case of here also now is that if I have any number here, I will probably get this outcome. I probably get something as y. So that means that codomain of this one also will be set of all real number. In the case of here, what is the value that cannot be possible with y? The value that cannot be possible with y, that is, that I'm going to get as an answer. Now, I can never get y as 0. If I have 1 here, 1 divided by 1 is 1. If I have 2 here, 1 divided by 2 is 0.5. There is no how I'm going to have y as equal to 0. That is why the codomain of this one also will be set of all real number except 0. That is the possible outcome that I can get. The third one that I have here, the third one here is that, okay, what is the possible outcome that I can get from this? Now, look at it that, okay, if I have here as 1, 2, 3, 4, it's still going. But if I have here as 2, there's no way I'm going to be having y as 0. Because this one must give me something. If I have 1 over 1 minus 2, you give me 1 divided by minus 1, right? There's no way I'm going to have y as what? As 0. So that means that the codomain of this one, the set of all real number except 0. This one is for the domain. Now the codomain of this one, codomain that I cannot get from this. Codomain of this one is that sets of all real number except what? Except 0. Because there is no way I'm going to be having y as 0. Is that taken now? If I have here as 0, I'll be having 1 divided by minus 2. If I have it as minus 1, 1 over minus 3. So there's no way I'm going to be having this y to be equal to 0. So the codomain of y, the set of all real number except 0. So this is about the function, about the variable. So the variable is the functions, or variable is what we use to represent an unknown number. It's a symbol that we use to represent an unknown number or changeable value. That's what they call variable. And we have dependent and independent. Dependent is the one that is outputs, that is your product. Your independent is the one that is inputs. What you have here, your ingredients, and you're communicating. And domain and codomain is what is going to happen, that this value, is this suitable for this equation or for this expression or not? So this is about the one that you're going to look into. This is the beginning of calculus, and you must understand all these terms that you are making use of. What do you mean by variable, by functions, domain, codomain? Are you with me now? Real number means that any possible number that you can think on a straight line, on a number line. You get any possible number that you can think about on a number line, what they call the real number. So this is all about today. We continue in our next class. Thanks for watching. And if you want to subscribe to our Telegram group chat where we are going to be explaining this thing intensively, you can always reach out to us. Thanks for watching.